Well, let me ask you this. Tell us a little bit about what the product does. Some people may have not come across the innovation, what you're working on. Can you give us an overview?
Yeah, sure. So our company is called Till. We call our core platform here Flexible Rent. The idea is that rent and the policies in and around rent have been incredibly inflexible since kind of the dawn of time. And we have introduced a platform that's really sits on this incredibly advanced technology and data analytics platform, really deeply understanding each individual renter sitting in every one of the communities in which we operate. The goal is to improve that rent payments experience. It is to solve problems that the renter faces in and around payment timing. We believe, and this has been kind of cemented by conversations with thousands of renters and data from thousands of renters, that one of the biggest just general baseline challenges that the renter customer faces is the inflexibility of rent. It is the biggest expense that likely every renter in America faces. It happens every single month. It is roughly 50% of the renter's post-tax net income, and it's due in full at the first of the month. It's due at the point in the month when the average American has the least amount of money in their account. So I'd say as a joke often, but it's not really a joke, we as an industry have designed rent to charge the renter's biggest expense at the point in the month when they have the least amount of money. We've tried to make it as hard as possible for our customers to pay us. So Till steps in and designs customized payment schedules designed to keep on-time renters on time by helping them better budget, save, and pay for rent, support them if they run into a short-term kind of shortfall by helping them pay on time, and then design schedules that help late and delinquent renters get caught back up really quickly, really efficiently, all the while creating a better payments experience and supplementing and supporting the teams on site and how they work with their residents.
Yeah, I think a lot of the lease expirations, you look at lenders and investors that are taking risks on portfolios, and the whole idea was, right, let's manage the expiration so we don't have a lot of move outs at any given time. And in fact, even when we move somebody in midstream in a lease, we are prorating them to actually intentionally move that rent payment to the first. What impact does that really have, though, on cash balances? I know you have the data and you've got the charts to support all that stuff, but what impact does that have on the cash balances?
Yeah, I mean, the goal of Till is one I hope one day will hit, but in every community where Till is offered, we'd like to see 100% of rent collected on the first of the month, and we can do that by having a platform of tools which meets each renter when they come to work with Till. It meets them where they are. It helps them stay ahead if they are ahead. It helps them catch up if they are behind. And there's tools like credit boosts and things like that to catch them up or fill any short-term gaps. There's not really a one-size-fits-all solution in this space. We have had multiple products over our 3-year period, have worked with hundreds of thousands of units, 40, 50,000 renters plus, and there really isn't a one-size-fits-all, but we've proven that we can really get renters caught up really fast that are behind. So when your residents work with us, more and more of your rent is collected on time every month. We're moving on-time collections rates 20, 50+% in just the first couple of months of working with Till. So this idea of flexibility is often, the response can be, oh, well, what if all my renters pay late? No, it's exactly the opposite. More and more of your rent is collected on time earlier and earlier in the month, or each month. So impact to cash flow is very positive. It's very predictable. The payment success rates of the renters participating with us are 97% plus in just the first month of their enrollment, 100% by the third month of their enrollment. So your cash flow, your collections from even your most challenged renters gets very, very predictable. All of this has really positive effects on your cash planning, your ability to service your expenses, your debt, etc.
Yeah. So thinking about even, even before the shift that we had with managing who gets to pay rent, the enforcement of paying rent, and managing past due balances, this problem has sort of accelerated itself. Maybe it was a challenge we didn't know that we didn't have, right? And so are we really set up, though, to at property levels to not only manage, collect, enforce, structure, document, and these types of things of these payment plans that may be in place?
Yeah, it's a great question. These were challenges that existed pre-COVID. These are challenges that are real today, and these are challenges that will exist post-COVID. As I mentioned, I think 60+% of Americans have less than $400 in savings. The average renter customer experiences 25% month-to-month income volatility, and they spend 50% of their post-tax net income in rent. That makes it really challenging to budget. It makes it really challenging to save. And it calls for folks to be incredibly diligent and to prioritize rent in their expense hierarchy. That's hard. It's hard for me, and I help run a business that does this. So these challenges have always existed. I think the reason that TIL is here is that properties are not set up to efficiently manage kind of the different renter types. But it all starts with understanding the renter in real time and in advance. Today, the way we work with renters is we manage their collections through things like late fees, things like eviction filings, which are designed to be sticks to get renters to pay on time. But when they don't work, when the renter misses that payment, they often just exacerbate the chance that renter falls behind. We've seen roughly half of delinquent renters in communities where we are active work with us, 5-6+ times higher rates than the renters are engaging with payment plans offered by properties. So one part of this is having a tool that is designed to support your teams on site and to give the renter something that gives them hope, something that with which they want to engage because it's positive, because it's designed specifically and customized for each renter, and then support the teams because there are no systems to proactively work with renters. It's all reactive. Once they're late, then we charge a late fee. Once they're late, we ask them if they need a payment plan. And then it's all kind of managed and kept track on spreadsheets and Post-it notes. We've built a really, really smart, really technologically advanced data and analytics platform that makes this possible at really high scale.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the conversations you're having in those boardrooms with executives, not only positioning the offer that you have here,
Sure.
but what is it that they're concerned about? Maybe this is a new process, a new technology for them. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I think it's very new, and we were the first company in the country to introduce credit for rent. We created in 2018. It's how we formed our business. We called it our rental loan, where we fronted the money for the renters that qualified, and then they had 1, 3, 6, or 9 months to pay us back. And we saw a bunch of renters using that product as just a tool for flexibility. It was a really easy sale, right? We walk into a property, we say, hey, we'll give you free money. We'll front it to any renter that qualifies, and we take on the payment risk. There have been a couple companies that have come after us that are offering that. I think that product is getting more popular. It's a challenging product on its own, but it is designed because that's what the boardroom initially believes that they want to hear. It helps some people, but the fact is renters that are good, not good is not the right word. Renters that can be very predictable, very reliable, on-time payers really shouldn't need or shouldn't have credit as their tool to get them a little bit more flexibility. It should be more diligence, really more balanced and committed savings. Renters that are too far behind will never qualify for that product. So as we have these conversations, a lot of operators say, well, we like getting paid on the first. And we say, we get it. We're going to get you paid on the first in far higher frequency than any other platform that is just a credit product on its own. We've proven that with data. But we're also building out, continuing to expand the platform through kind of rent savings and budgeting, through credit reporting, so to help renters build their credit scores, all to build this full stack experience that you can't find anywhere else, that motivates the renter to be a diligent saver, to prioritize rent, all the while making the platform as simple, as streamlined, and as easy to use for our owner-operator partners as possible. Also helped with system integrations. Again, making this a full streamlined platform that 100% of their renters can use. And when we really boil it down and show the data and walk them through, there really isn't anything else that can compare. And we've shown that with data, and now we're really seeing the expansion because of it.
Yeah, let's talk about that data. I mean, when you think about it, somebody moves in, we do this, all the pre-qual, the employer, all the information on the front end, and then after that, we really don't have any new way to get access to what may have changed, maybe alternate jobs they have, Upwork jobs, whatever else they're getting for income streams. Is there something we should be looking at with this data?
Yeah, I mean, the idea that the W-2 is the sole source of income is just not true anymore. And so our system of determining, renter risk, which is what you're trying to do when you screen somebody up front, it needs to evolve, right? Today we look at a credit score, we look at a pay stub, and then we never look at that information again. We sign a 1-year contract via a lease with the resident, and then we hope that they renew and stay multiple years. But we only ever know what's going on in our customer's financial life once, up at the very beginning of that relationship. And so that affects how we set them up in the home, how we work with them, how we risk manage, how we service. It's all reactive. So it really is the foundation of our platform, through integrations into bank accounts, through real-time deep cash flow analytics. I can tell you that payroll income is a meaningful percentage, but it's 60-70% of incomes these days. We've seen, obviously, through these integrations, we're seeing it daily, right? And it really drives in our proactive servicing of the renter to ensure payment success. When stimulus hits, there's cash sitting in the account. Renters that haven't paid rent in a couple months, cash balances are actually pretty big because they haven't been paying their biggest expense. And the timing within the month that W-2 versus Uber versus cash inflows hits, all really fits into how we work with a renter to make sure that the timing of their payments is in the most optimal state to keep rent the priority expense. What I mean by that is, as soon as income hits the account, the money for rent should be coming out and paid to the property or prioritized for the property before it's gone and spent somewhere else. That's how we ensure payment success. That's how we get 97 to 100% payment success for renters enrolled with us. It's about really deeply understanding each individual renter and their unique cash flow circumstances.
Very interesting. What does this look like becoming a new customer in terms of the process, training, onboarding? What's it look like day one through the first 90 days?
Let me clarify. We're a B2B2C company, so we have two customers. We have our owner operator and our renter. You asked about training, so I assume you mean the operator partner, not the renter.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's a relatively quick setup process. I think to date my fastest is 9 days. from initial call to launch. It really is, we have a document we sign to memorialize the relationship. We get some information on each of the properties. Uh, Ideally, we're integrated with a number of the big software systems, more to come. So there's that setup period, and that allows us to know, have the data to know what the renter's rent is, what their other charges are, when their variable income hits, and do they have a balance, things like that. So we get that integration piece set up. We want to automate as much of the renter communication about Till as possible. Today it's an optional enrollment, and so we can only help the property as much as the renters are enrolled. So we need to make sure that they know about us, and we try to automate as much of that as possible in the portals, with links on the websites, with scheduled emails, with physical materials sent to the sites and all that. And then, we do some training with the on-site teams around just generally how it works, how can we be helpful. We really want them to see us as a champion. We ran a survey with our participating property teams and asked two questions. The first was, how much time do you normally spend working to collect rent from your late renters? The answer was incredibly consistent, between 1 and 3 hours per week per late renter. That includes, going into Yardi and looking to see who's late, preparing letters, walking the properties, putting letters out, making phone calls, all of that. And then we asked a second question: how much time has Till saved you doing that? And the answers were between 50 and 90% of their time. That is effort. It's reactive. It is inefficient. It's also the part of the job that the teams on site like the least. Nobody got into that business to be a debt collector. They got into that business because it's a people business. They want to create really positive relationships with those renters, and that's what the residents want. So we spend that training time and really post-launch time with a full team that really manages our on-site relationships to make sure that we are empowering them with time to go create those relationships with their renters. So when a site team buys in, it's really powerful, and that's how we see our enrollment rates jump. One more quick note on that: we get feedback all the time from residents. Those that are really good, reliable on-time payers, the feedback is always, I pay my rent on time and I never hear from my site team. This is your high value, your really good customer, and the teams don't have enough time to spend creating relationships with them. This other side is your kind of habitual late payers say, the only time I ever hear from my property is when I'm late and they're calling for money. So the sites, not because they don't want to, they don't have the time to build those meaningful relationships and the tools to have a positive dialogue around collections. We provide both of those.
Yeah, it is interesting, this tension that is created from the customer experience in that collection process. And it's probably one of the most undertrained parts of our business is, how to be effective in collecting. I mean, pretty much it's just refer to the lease, enforce the lease, and show up in those ways. Pretty fascinating. What other, do you want to talk about really the state of collections? I know we briefed on some elements, but kind of where we are as an industry, where we're going?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the things I love most about what I do is I probably have 5 or 6 conversations a day with big to small, medium-sized owners, third-party managers, operators around the country. So I've gotten to have lots of those over the past year. And 99.9% of those conversations, I always ask the first thing in each of them, I ask, how are you? How's it going? What's going on over the last month, 3 months, 6 months, a year? And 99% of them, the answer is, we're doing a whole lot better than we thought we would be doing. So there's this idea that multifamily is resilient. And then as you peel the onion back, it's like, yeah, our delinquency is higher than normal. But that's so I think the statement is born on expectations were really low, right? And we saw that over the last year. And I think like this week is 1 year anniversary since everybody shut their offices down. We had 3 million units call me in 10 days in the last half of March of last year. And everyone thought, like, I mean, I had conversations with Patrick where people didn't think they would collect $1 of rent. It was amazing. Nobody knew. And so there was a lot of panic over kind of March to May. And then by June, the conversations were, oh, we're doing amazing. Everyone's always going to pay their rent. Because I think we had, by then we'd had a stimulus check. And then, it's waxed and waned a bit. You've seen kind of a barbell curve of, the really kind of the deep workforce. There's been some significant delinquency challenges because, those are the folks, unfortunately, that that renter works often can't be done at home. So those jobs have been really heavily affected. The middle, which is that kind of second ring, kind of B plus asset, they've done great. They have been a beneficiary of the out-migration from the cities, people looking for a little bit lower price point than they were paying downtown. Those properties have done amazingly well. And then the urban properties, nicer, newer, have been challenged as well, more so from an occupancy standpoint, but really where those properties have experienced delinquency, you just see their rents are higher. So whole dollar delinquency is really high compared to previous, but they're more fighting an occupancy and a loss in a rent levels retreating because there's just more availability. So I think overall people are believing that multifamily is resilient, but most folks have seen the ability for innovation to help, and I think that are planning on that being a mainstay coming out of this challenging time.
Yeah, certainly the reprioritization of what do I pay first has been helpful in that. And I would be curious to know what the cellular, the mobile phone, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, whoever it is consolidating each other today, what their rates of delinquency is, because I know access to information and also our home, that becomes the thing that we need most, right? So this has been awesome. Are there any other final thoughts you want to leave our viewers with, or anything that you want to just kind of help those operators, those executives think about the business differently?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that we're in a really exciting time in this industry. There's a lot of really cool, very innovative businesses that have been created that are growing, some of whom we compete with. We generally really believe that the rising tide raises all boats. You guys as operators should be utilizing technology platforms in your properties. We believe wholeheartedly that the kind of the relationship between the renter and I try to avoid the term landlord as much as possible, but the operator has been kind of combative for a long time. It has definitely been, the power is in the hands of the operator. And one of the North Stars here at Till is everything we do has to be net positive for the renter. There are probably 99% of the things that fall into that bucket are also net positive for the property. There's probably a couple that we could all think about that are not, but by setting your residents up to succeed, you all will make more money. You all will save time operating your properties. You all will have staffs that are much happier in their jobs, and just have a holistically improved experience within your communities. So takeaway is, I'd love it to be Till. I'd love to speak with everybody that is listening. Patrick, I don't know what the numbers are. In my head, I'm convinced myself it's thousands and thousands of people are watching us right now. I'd love to speak with all of them. Brady at hellotill.com. But I think look at what's out there, and I urge you to really be focused on really driving innovation in your communities to create these kind of mutually beneficial outcomes, because they really do exist.
Hey, that's awesome. It's been great sharing the time with you. And those of you, those of you that are tuning in, I mean, you've got a great mind here, great technology. Definitely reach out and feel free to tune in and put your notes and how they can link into you. We're on LinkedIn too as well. So good. Thank you for being here. Appreciate what you're doing, and we'll be following your success.
Hey, Patrick, I really appreciate you having me, and thank you for doing what you're doing as well. It's a great platform here for the industry. So thanks so much.
Awesome. All right, man. We'll talk later.
Bye-bye.